And one of the more perplexing recruiting cycles, the 2026 high school recruiting class has their crown jewel remaining at the top and still has nowhere that he is committed. What's cooking? Welcome back into another edition of ESPN Louisville Plus. I'm Justin Sofro, and of course I got you covered for all things cards, cats, bourbon, and that bluegrass. And today we're talking about one of the bigger stories there in the recruiting cycle is the one that just won't go away. It won't die. It won't just wrap up neatly and move on. Go to where you're going to go. TYRAN Stokes is back in the news. We had some rumblings out there, some fake news sources out there, but now a guy who is pretty trusted in the game, one Joe Tipton of On 3, Off 3 if you want to be tongue-in-cheek, but On 3 has come out there with the latest recruiting report when it comes to TYRAN Stokes, and I think a lot hasn't changed, but a lot is kind of interesting in the way that this thing is playing out. I guess the latest update with this, last we saw, he had cut his list of suitors, if you will, taking away Louisville and a couple other teams, John Calipari in Arkansas, out of the game. And now this has been months later. We're looking at TYRAN Stokes down to two schools, and that is the University of Kansas and the University of Kentucky, though Joe Tipton feels like it's leaning in one direction. The one thing that's really interesting about this is the fall off of one Oregon basketball. Kind of surprising for me. I thought maybe given a lot of the drama that was happening and going on, being that he is a Nike signed kid, that maybe he was just going to, hang it up, go to Oregon, become a Duck, do his thing out there, make that big money that you can make with Nike and all the deals you're going to get from there, being that you are signed with Nike currently. Instead, maybe, I don't want to say completely perplexing, I want to say completely out of the realm of possibility, but what may be happening is just that. From Joe Tipton's article, he is basically saying that behind the scenes, the number one recruit in the 2026 recruiting class, TYRAN Stokes, Kansas is basically, they're the clear leader. Kansas is when everybody's kind of expected this at this point, but to me, it's still kind of somewhat surprising. Stokes has told close contacts at KU that is his preferred destination over the University of Kentucky. NIL talks with the JAYHAWKS are ongoing, but they are unresolved. The sides aren't far apart, but Kansas is cautious after their big payout to freshman Darren Peterson, who has been hell in a handbasket, absolute drama for the JAYHAWKS this season, and not just kind of giving you good example of what you don't want to kind of put your money in. Regardless, he's an amazing player, an amazing prospect. We saw what he did against Louisville in that exhibition game, but he is not paid dividends for all the dividends that are being paid to him. If the deal drags or falls, Kentucky could re-enter contention, though Stokes isn't leaning that way right now. This is a pure NIL-driven drama situation, and it's something that I don't know how people here locally feel. Kentucky fans, leave your comments and opinions in the comment section down below. I want to know, do you want TYRAN Stokes? I feel like at this point, given where Kentucky basketball is, obviously beggars can't be choosers, which is something I think nobody ever thought we'd be talking about when we talk about the Kentucky Wildcats and a recruiting cycle. We're used to John Calipari dominating, and I get it. He fell off a little bit there in the last few years, but he's still doing his thing, getting a lot of the top recruits out there, guys that are going to be one and dones, and getting who he wants coming to your town and taking now your players. But interesting enough is Kentucky's got nobody. Kentucky has nobody currently committed to the program for the 2026-27 season. And I understand, I get it. At this point in the game, you really can just kind of focus on who are you going to get in the portal? How are you going to rebuild these teams with portal players and guys that are going to go and be able to be day one competitors. I don't want to say old men, but older, more developed, more experienced players. At the same time, this is not what Kentucky basketball has been. You've been a team has gone out there that goes out there and cleans up with 5-star players, 4-star recruits, shiny toys that they can get out there. And now Tyron Stokes, who is a local kid. We talked about the whole Louisville situation, about how they got shut down early. Maybe some of that drama there, we talk about Tyron Stokes kind of being perceived as somewhat of a problematic personality. I have no real backing to say that I can make a judgment claim on this kid at all. I have no idea if he does cause issues, but it does seem just like a lot of kids that are talented at this age, that they want money, that they want their shine, they want to get, they want all of that. And they're not really willing to give a lot in return outside of their play. That being said, Mark Pope at the same time would be kind of, I think the same thing for Louisville, to be clear. I think it would be kind of almost stupid to completely cut off recruitment of a player of this caliber. If you can get the number one recruit, especially a guy who is from the Kentucky area, from Louisville, has ties there enough. Was rumored to go ahead and commit to Kentucky back in October around his birthday, and that never came to fruition. We thought maybe the reports out there were saying that basically he was upset that got out there, that got leaked, that news was even being murmured because he really just wanted to have his special moment. Well, we saw how the season kind of played out for Kentucky, things kind of falling apart there in the middle, coming back a little bit later on, but really kind of middling out, not being a Kentucky team that a lot of fans are, unhappy with. We've seen the post games recently. We've seen where Kentucky is. We've seen people still calling for Mark Pope's got to go. He ain't Kentucky quality. He doesn't need to be at the University of Kentucky. It's time to move on. And, obviously that's not, even though you're only going to do it for a 1-year situation, that's not what, Tyron Stokes really wants to enter into. That being said, Kansas has not been the greatest team even this past season. They've been good quality. They've been obviously ranked for majority of the season, and they've taken their lumps as well, but they've obviously got a better situation with a proven head coach, with the guy who's won multiple national championships, and a guy who definitely, I guess, you feel more comfortable putting your future in. But of course, Tyron Stokes is going to do his thing and wants to squeeze every penny out of wherever he's going. So my honest opinion, if I am Kentucky, while I say I hate to throw up any opportunity to get this player, I completely understand if a lot of fans and a lot of people around the program are saying just move on, go with somebody else who's not problematic, somebody who's not going to bring all that baggage here. Kentucky's got enough baggage as it is right now. Mark Pope calling referees mother effers and all of that, and getting fined $25,000 and just causing a complete spectacle on his own accord. Maybe he doesn't need a player that's going to do a lot more of that as well. Again, I don't know that he's going to be that kind of temperament or that personality, but it is said to be said. I also it's just kind of confusing to me that there haven't been more teams coming to the table trying to really get Tyron Stokes. If he's considering Kansas, he will consider Adidas schools. That means all these Adidas schools could come to the table. Louisville could come back, but remember, Pat Kelsey made those comments talking about personality issues, feeling that he's not a personality fit. That being said, again, being a local Kentucky guy, I'm surprised Louisville hasn't even tried to get involved. But again, if they want an ungodly amount of money, you see what can happen with ungodly amounts of money being wasted. We've seen what's happened with Kentucky with the $22 million roster. And then also there's been a little bit of that drama. The reports recently, and I know maybe there's like a no contact time for him for some reason with Stokes, and maybe that's what it was. But Bill Self was going in there, dabbing up Tay Kenny at the same practice or whatever event that it was, and he was not doing the same for Tyron Stokes. So it's a confusing situation on what is going to happen with Tyron Stokes, but I think at this point in it, Kentucky still has a very, very, tell me there's a chance, a very tiny opportunity that they can land with Tyron Stokes. But at this point, I think everybody's saying, Tyron Stokes, just commit, just make your commitment, get over with, and let us move on, and let us stop trying to pay attention to you. You've squeezed it for everything you can get out of it. Commit to Kansas or commit to Kentucky. Just let us know. Where do you guys think he'll end up? I think my vote is still on Kansas, but let me know if you think there really is an opportunity that Mark Pope ends up with Tyron Stokes in the end in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, smash that freaking like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. You can follow me at Justin Sofro, and of course ESPN 680 and 93.9 The Ville on all other social media platforms. I'll see you guys next time. Cards, Cats, Bourbon, and Bluegrass. See ya.